One of the benefits, one of the graces, one of the great unknowns is really we don't know how long we're going to be here. And we don't know how long the people that we love and care for are going to be here after we're gone. We're talking about our husbands and wives and children and the things that we want to care for. There's a natural fear for each and every one of us that we haven't gathered enough, that we haven't saved enough or accumulated enough for retirement. And it creates some real challenges for people as they go into that next phase of life, or what we call the retirement years, the golden years, the distribution years. Some people now call it decumulation. We're going to give you a strategy to think about, to try to ease some of that burden, give you some things that you need to consider on Consider This Program. Join us today. Welcome back to Consider This Program. I am your host, Joe Clark.
And I'm Grant Sullivan.
Happy to have you along. You know, I almost said welcome to the Market Carver because we do that too. If you've not seen that, that is a video that I've been doing since 2007. It's a recap of what we believe was the most important thing that happened in the market and the economy the week before. Either myself or Adam Harder, a CFA, and our Chief Investment Officer do that video. It comes out, like I said, every Thursday. Our very own Grant Soliven, along with our Director of Financial Planning, Aaron Rayom, do Elements in Focus, where they leave the market alone and come in and talk about the issues that we believe most impact you from a planning standpoint. If you haven't figured this out yet, this is not a normal radio show. We are not here to sell things. Number one, we don't sell products. We're not trying to get you to do that. What we're trying to do is to give you things that you may want to consider. And here's the deal. If you want to be your own fiduciary, that is your business. And I hope you can take the stuff that we talk about on the show and apply it to make your life better. If you want to be your own fiduciary, that's fine. That's your call. We're here when you're ready. If you're looking for a fiduciary now, that's what we do. Give us a call at 800-928-4001. Go to our website at yourlifeafterwork.com. Get signed up for your Next Steps meeting. So, Grant, the theme of the show is what keeps you awake at night. And Grant has recognized over his years of being at the Financial Enhancement Group and, 6 or 7 years in the financial services industry before he wound up here, has his degree in financial planning from Purdue University. Outliving your retirement is a fear that I'm going to let you talk about, and then I will give my edited view as the as the managing partner, professor, elder, and all of the
advisor as well.
Of all of those things,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So go ahead, tell me where you're heading with this. What outliving your retirement?
Yeah, outliving retirement is one of the most common comments that we get when people come in and see us. It doesn't matter how many assets they have. It doesn't matter how affluent or how strong of savers they were. The first question that always hits that sheet we have them fill out ahead of our meeting, Joe, is, do I have enough? Do I have enough? And again, for a lot of the families we take care of, we understand that they don't want to worry about it. And most of them have plenty. It's just making sure that they understand that you have to have process and that you have to understand why you're doing the things you're doing to get through that.
So what we try to do, by the way, and that's why we're going to offer a solution for you, I try to free you up from, and I don't want to make this sound as cold as it is, but, honestly, nonsense. So I told the students at Purdue when I started teaching, I was there for 7 years, and, so I talk out of two sides of my mouth and once in the middle, right? So I've done this for 33 years. So for more than 2,000 families, I've seen a direct impact of what happens. In many cases, I've got people I've taken care of for over 30 years now. What happens over 3 decades from when they're in the middle of their accumulation phase to now they're in their distribution phase, right? I have to talk about as a certified financial planner where I really got most of my education in terms of this is the way this stuff works and the way you need to think about it. And then I've got the academic part that I learned from white papers and Purdue and everything else. And I will tell you there are 3 people from my side of the coin that walk into our office. There are people who don't want to pull money out of their account because, plain and simply, they don't need the money, right? Now, they will ask the question that Grant asked, right? There are the people who come in who don't want to pull money out of the account because they've worked so hard accumulating for 40 years to build this nest egg, that finally reached this number that they can't imagine withdrawing from it and harming the baby, right? So they don't want to pull it out. So they will ask the question, and it's usually one spouse over the other spouse who doesn't want to spend any money, who's trying to elicit their own set of fear, right? What if we run out, honey, right? What if we run out, right? And then there's the third group that is purely full of fear. Now, I'm going to talk to you with all of the truth that I know how to muster up and understand that the Financial Enhancement Group manages $640 million. I charge, our firm charges on every single dime of that. It is in direct violation of my business directive for me to get you to spend money. You understand that, right? Because every dollar that we manage is money that we get paid that pays the 34 families that work at the Financial Enhancement Group. When you come in for your Next Steps meeting, our job is to, if you're looking for a fiduciary and you're a right fit for us and we're a right fit for you, our job is to manage your money and you're going to pay us. That's how we build the company, right? So we have a vested interest in taking care of the money that we have. But we have a moral part of this that teaches people that it is okay to use their money. Mm-hmm. The stuff that you're going to read and hear that comes from academia, the stuff that when I was at Purdue talks to you about needing a certain percentage of your income if you go to retire. And then you read the fine print and it's about people that are at the median income, right? And which right now is like $44,000 a year.
Right.
If you're taking the time to listen to the show, you are probably not in the median income. Right? God made us all unique. You do not need 70% of your income to retire. You need 100% of your standard of living. And we'll get back to that in a minute in terms of how that needs to be divided. Right? From a standpoint of being a certified financial planner, I know how to run assumptions on inflation, rate of return, distribution percentages you can take out. Heck, we even have technology to help us with that. But I will tell you that in the real world, the 33 years that I've done it, we need to take your budget and divide it into two different categories, right? And we need to understand that so often people wind up dealing with folks that are on the wrong side of the trade. It does not take, if you walk in and you have any fear at all of running out of money, it does not take long for me to scare the heebie-jeebies out of you and let you know that you might run out of money. And therefore, you don't spend, what I call hoard money. Suddenly, you're 90. You have a lot of money left and not a lot of life left. And that's not what you signed up for, right? Correct. So when you understand that the person who's talking to you gets paid not to help you spend, but to help you save and accumulate, you can recognize the cognitive bias. So when you come in, challenge us if we don't already put it out there. One of our uniquenesses is we are here to help you with the financial journey and to teach you how much money you can spend. Now, the way we do that, the way we help people set that up is by understanding what a retirement budget is and the difference between fixed and social expenditures. So Grant, explain.
Retirement budget year, pretty quickly and pretty precise actually, is practice. It takes 1,000 hours to become an expert, or is it 10,000? I always get that number mixed
10,000 they say.
10,000. So maybe I'm an expert at 1,000. We'll figure that out. But practice.
You're a quick learner.
Oh, well. We know that's not the case. But, and literally, practice is so important. And so you practice. That's the retirement practice year. We go through what standard of living looks like. We make sure beneficiaries in line. We essentially practice what it looks like to retire. So you can go into your life after work, which is, we don't call it retirement, we call it your life after work, successfully. Fixed expenses for standard of living, the stuff you can't get away from. I want to say that we'll never have car payments in retirement, Joe. Some people do, especially with interest rates being where they're at. Some people don't. Things like a mortgage, if you have one, utilities, cell phone, stuff that you're going to pay on a monthly basis. We've got some families who have hobbies that are in there, like golf, for example. It's a fixed expense.
It's not a hobby; it's a necessity.
There we go. Case in point. In social, there's all those things like spoiling grandkids, traveling, eating out, those types of things.
So where we go with this, guys, is when you look at that budget, we are trained to take every dollar that you spend at, let's just say you're retiring at 60, and extrapolate that same dollar all the way through at 90. And what our experience tells us is what you do at 90 with your money is entirely different than what you're going to do at 60, 65, and 70. And so we break that by that stuff that Grant talked about. We break those budgets into two areas, your social expenditures, which we tend to flatline, instead of raising with inflation every year. Yes, you still want to eat when you're 90. You may still want to spoil the grandkids at Christmas, but your desire to go to Italy, to Tuscany, or to go to the Grand Canyon diminishes as we get older. People can't get away from grandkids. They can't get away from a doctor, or the comfy couch just feels too comfy, right? So we're going to reduce the amount of money that you need to save in the future so that you can have more money today to be able to enjoy life. And we do that in such a way that we make sure that you're not going to run out along the way. We have a proven process that we've been able to use. We can articulate, we can demonstrate, and we can show you how to have your best life. We want you to have the retirement that you earned. I'll say that again. We want you to have the retirement you earned. This is not about how much money comes from somebody else. It's not about what your neighbors have. It's not about it. You went to work. You did the heavy lifting. You said no to things that you could have bought, things you could have done, going to Disney, buying bigger homes, nicer. You said no, and you put money into a 401k plan. You watched it. You nurtured it. You paid attention to what was going on for year after year after year. And suddenly you're now at this point where you're going into a new phase of finance that we call distribution. It violates almost all of the rules that you use to get to where you are. So it's like you're in the 9th inning and you have to learn a whole new set of rules, right? We recognize we are here because you did the heavy lifting, not us. You did the heavy lifting, but now it's our turn as fiduciaries to be able to come in to help you understand, okay, here's what I've got. Here's the work that I put into it. Take care of it like you would your own. That's our legal responsibility. Take care of it like we would our own, and figure out how much income you can take and eliminate that blasted fear of thinking that you're going to run out of money. Here's how much money you can spend. Here's how the checks are going to be deposited. Here's how we're going to do it, paying the least amount of money to the IRS. Here's how we're going to do it to still give the charitable gifting or be able to contribute to your kids. Here's the strategy that you need to be able to use to get to that next steps. And that's really what it's about, is what is your next step? So that is our commitment to you. If you go to our website at yourlifeafterwork.com, get signed up for a next steps meeting. We're going to commit to give you 90 minutes. You've got to bring the stuff that we ask you to bring. It's the only way for us to help you. I won't see anybody without a tax return, by the way, because if you don't bring a tax return, you really don't understand how all of this works. It all flows through that 1040. But we're going to give you things you're going to want to consider today, things you're going to want to consider in the future, and if we choose to partner together, what FEG will do for you, and we'll put it into writing. Go to yourlifeafterwork.com or call us at 800-928-4001. We look forward to meeting you.